we're going to be taking a look at Station 3, for which the title is Categorizing Eclipses. We're going to be needing to use Starry Night High School and some Eclipse files, which you will get off of the Hawking server. You may remember how to get to the Hawking server from last year. If you need to help each other, go for that. If I'm able to kind of show you how to do that, I may. But basically, you're going to be opening each of the lunar eclipse files, and you're going to be running time forward and backward, and just checking out what you see and taking some notes on it, writing down some observations, okay? So I'll put down here, write down some observations for each one, okay? And then you're going to create categories into which you think these types of eclipses would fit, and then each of those of the files you're going to categorize into one of these categories that you created. So in your notebook, you're going to make a table that indicates which category, which eclipse fits into which category, and you're going to justify your choices and your thinking in your results and discussion. You're also going to repeat steps for 2 through 4 for solar eclipses. And then it has some other explanations here. You're going to open one of the solar eclipse files and run time forward until the moon's shadow covers the Earth. You're going to click somewhere on the shadow while holding the control key, and then you're going to go to that location, and I'll show you how to do all this. And then we'll find the sun and see what it looks like from that position on Earth. And there's some more things here, descriptions, but I'll show you actually the process, which will make a lot of sense. So if I come over here, see how it says L1? So this is a lunar eclipse. If it starts with an L, so there's 10 of those. And here's the solar eclipses. I actually think there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Yeah, there's missing a 3 for the solar one. So there's actually only 9 of the solar, but I'll show you what to do. So if I open up L1, and this Eclipses for sorting folder, you'll just be dragging onto your desktop from Hawking. But let's open the file and see what happens. It should open Starry Night High School. If for some reason, oh, yep, it does. Here we go. If for some reason it doesn't do that, you can open up Starry Night High School and then go up to File, Open, and select it from your desktop. But let's run time and check things out. So I'm running time and looking at this, and I'm noticing that the moon is kind of going into this part of the shadow. But if I click and drag, notice that there's this other part of the shadow that it's not going into. So it's not going into this middle part, but it's only part way going into this edge part. So I would write some observations down about that. And then maybe I'd open up another one and see, well, is that true for other ones? Maybe, maybe not. Let's check it out. Maybe there's some differences in terms of what happens with it. So let's see. I'll play this one. Ooh, now this one does a little bit something different, doesn't it? Look how some of it goes into this center part and some of it doesn't. So that would be different. I'd want to write some observations about that. So you would go through all 10 of these and write observations down. And again, come up with category systems and justifier categories. Now let's see what happens with the solar ones. So the solar ones, I'm going to open it up and check it out. I'm going to run time. And we can see the shadow pass in front of the Earth. Definitely something interesting happening there. I might want to look at a few of them before I kind of decide what things I need to take notes on. So here's another one. Interesting. And here's another. Now you might notice on this one, there's this big circle, but there's a little teeny dot right there. And I wonder kind of what that little teeny dot is compared to this big area over here. So I'm going to hold the control key down and I'm going to click in the middle of that little teeny dot and I'm going to select Go There. And I can press the space bar if it's taking too long to scroll, and then I can find the sun by double clicking on it. Remember that double clicking thing? And I can look up into the sky and see this plus up here in the far right hand corner. I can do the plus and zoom in. Now the weird thing is, you might have noticed, it's actually like during daytime, and yet it's dark and you can see the stars. So let's see what that looks like. If I press play, did you see what happened? All of a sudden the sun's back out. So what was that blocking the sun? This is actually the moon blocking the sun. So you could go to different parts of the shadow and maybe have some thoughts as to what's going on there. So I'm going to open up this next one. Runtime. Another shadow. Now that's really interesting. Look, the shadow only goes over part of the Earth. What would I see if I went there? If I did go there, hit the space bar, find the sun, hit the space bar, zoom in. Look at that. It's not covering the whole sun. And actually, if we go over here to options, and right now daylight's turned off, but what we would notice is if we turn on daylight, it's actually pretty bright outside. And if I run time forwards and backwards, something different's happening. Like the moon's never really entirely going over the sun. So maybe that would have to be a different category. So your job is to look at all of these files and figure out what category you should put them into, and then you'll take notes on them, and then for the results and discussion you're going to have to kind of justify what the categories are and why you think that different eclipses fit into that system. And every one of you should have all of the information in your own notebooks. However, you can talk to each other and give each other ideas.